All right, hello and welcome back to Harlan is in Danger. I'm your host, Tom, and joining me today, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Mitch.
Hello, I'm also here, and today we're going to be reviewing the player cards from the Greater Good from the Circle Undone campaign. And
Yep.
let's just jump right in.
Perfect. Oh, I gotta click on it. There we go. This is going to be a quick one. I guess we probably should have mentioned that because these are just all upgrades to cards that we saw earlier in the cycle. But starting off with the Guardian cards, we have the 45 Thompson Blue Edition and Enchanted Blade Blue Edition. Starting with the 45 Thompson Blue Edition. It's a level 3 item, weapon, firearm, illicit asset that takes up both hand slots. Commits for 2 combat icons and uses 5 ammo. The text is, ammo spent from 45 Thompson is placed in your resource pool as resources, and action, spend 1 ammo, fight, you get +2 combat, and deal +1 damage for this attack.
This card's awesome.
Yeah. It's just
It's
good.
awesome, and I've never played it.
Really? It's a very fun card. And the biggest ask of it is it's a 6 cost gun. But honestly, it's just consistent. You get that money back. Yeah, it feels really good, honestly. And you're not playing the cool thing about two-handed weapons, is while you're a little bit more fragile to the Mythos decks from things like Crypt Chill or things that blank your item assets, you don't have to play another thing into your hand slot to be operational, right? They're this takes up 2 hands because it's going to take 2 hands worth of efficiency. It's going to use 2 hands worth of efficiency.
Right.
So this is sort of like my kind of like my anti. I think we talked about sign magic the other day, and the argument I had for sign magic is even though it's fast and it gives you more slots and those you have to fill, right? This takes up more slots, isn't fast, so you're actually spending less money to get to operational capacity with it, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you money back.
No, that's a really good argument for it. No, I think the card is solid. I don't know why I've never played it. I think it's just because I'm typically building some wacky, Springfield deck or something like that. I'm playing with a card that I want to be good or to do some wacky effect. Next time I'm playing a Guardian and I just have a standard straightforward goal of just shoot things, I'm gonna play this one because I love the fact that it just gives you the resources back over time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how that works thematically. Are you taking the bullet shells and melting them down to selling them? I don't know who would want that. But regardless, it is a nice effect that I do think fits Guardian where because so many other cards just cost so much. So to have one that's giving you this rebate so you can stay in the game, I don't know, I think it's a big win. And, you use it to get extra ammo to refill it.
Yep.
And then fight some more.
And then you get that money back too. Yeah. Yeah. I think the thematics of it, I've always kind of thought of the thematics of it as sort of it's Guardian preparedness, right? So you're using this gun and you're actually being a little bit stingier with it. So you're getting these kind of resources back because you're prepared with this big gun to use it more sparingly, I guess.
I see.
Even though that's not actually reflected in getting more ammo, it's reflected in you getting more resources to put more ammo on it or to play another one or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It would be interesting to play this with Venturer too, because he costs 4 resources and he gets 4 supplies or ammo.
3.
So you just dump his resources over here, you get 4 more shots, and you get all your money back from Venturer.
I think
this is cool. I'm gonna have to play this next time.
Isn't Venturer only 3, or is he 4?
I think he's 4.
Oh, okay.
And then he gives you the 4 resources, and then he's a 2/2 soak, right?
Maybe. I thought he was a 3. Gives you 3 resources because you can put them on other things, but I don't know. Maybe you're right.
If so, you get a bonus. Let me take a look. Venture, where are you? My fine friend. He's 4.
He is 4. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, I always undervalue Venture.
And it's only 3 supplies, so I guess you get him for 1 resource.
Yeah.
Still.
But 1 resource for 2 soak is pretty good. Yeah. I like that this also doesn't care about whether or not you hit. It's not if it's successful. It's just as soon as you spend it, and that works with like the
Yeah.
sort of firearm tricks too, like eat lead or warning shot. Um, those refund you
Hmm.
some of the cost to play those events, which they aren't great, but I like warning shot. I like a cheeky warning shot in my decks if I'm playing a firearm deck,
Hmm.
because sometimes it'll save your life.
Yeah. I also like that this is 3 XP, and the justification there is it takes up an extra hand slot.
Hmm.
And I think that's a fair trade
Yeah.
because it's a little cheaper than what most guns would be doing. And it is capped at +2 combat, +1 damage. But that's really all you need. That's all you want.
Yeah.
So you're going to be feeling comfortable and pretty with that.
Yep. I think so.
Hmm.
All right. Let's talk about Enchanted Blade Blue Edition. Again, 3 cost. Again, level 3. Commits its item, relic, weapon, melee, and takes up a hand slot and an arcane slot. It has uses 3 charges, and the action fight, you get +2 for this attack. If you succeed, you may spend 1 charge to empower the blade, dealing +1 damage for this attack. If the blade is empowered and this attack defeats an enemy, draw 1 card and heal 1 horror.
And Carolyn Fern can't take it. When it was clearly designed for her.
We've already had this conversation in a
We
in a
have,
past
so
video. I
getting rid of that.
So I think since we had that conversation, actually, I've looked at this card again because I think I said like I'm kind of falling out of love with Enchanted Blade. It's kind of been such like a card I've played with a ton. I want to give this version another shake because I most recently played with the purple version, which we'll get to in a little bit, and really didn't have a great time with it. But I do want to give this one another shake. I still don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I do want to. I don't know. I just want to give it a shake.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, I'm with you. I think it's solid. I mean, you get +2 combat, and it's if you succeed, you can spend the charge.
Yeah, which
So
is
if you
nice.
don't succeed, you don't lose your charges,
Yeah, you don't
which
have
I
to
believe
think
is
about it.
carried over from the original, yeah, the base version,
No,
right?
the base version you have to
Is that-
choose to spend a charge before
Oh,
you
you have
make
to
the
choose
attack.
spend
So
it.
this
Okay.
does give you a little bit of
Oh, that's
security.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you can also decide like if it's empowered. Like I think there's a neat play pattern with this one where you can like for a 3 health enemy poke it. If you succeed, just still do 1 damage and then poke it again. And if you succeed, empower the blade to get a card and heal a horror.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
and then like I guess if you run out of charges, it's still a +2 to do a damage, which isn't. I don't know. I'm trying to summon optimism for this card because I really want to try playing with it again, but I'm having a little bit of a time.
Well, okay. I know I'm gonna stop with the Carolyn thing, but who wants this card?
uh, Lily Chen. Uh,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Lily likes it. I guess
like
can
a 4 fist guardian who's not running like beat cops or Ace of Rods maybe. Um,
like maybe Roland, but
maybe
he
Roland.
doesn't really care about the card draw, but he likes the horror healing.
And he doesn't
I'm
have
trying
to
to think of
run
like low
adjacent card
sanity.
draw. He doesn't have to run adjacent card draw if he does have this. So it kind of like the cool thing about it is this also
Mhm.
is basically a preposterous sketches over like killing 3 enemies if you can time
Yeah.
it right. Like sometimes you're going to do that 2 damage now
Hmm.
and knock at the card draw and the horror healing, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I suppose it's anyone who likes killing enemies too, which I guess is everybody.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I don't see. Yeah, Tommy doesn't like it because he wants Becky. Maybe, maybe Zoe, I guess, because she can sometimes get beat up
I can
because
see
she's always
Zoe
getting
liking this.
scuffed.
Yeah, I can see Zoe liking this
Yeah.
because she's got good economy, but she doesn't have good card draw. So this might be a way to do the
Hmm.
card draw aspect of it. And she does take horror, and sometimes mental trauma,
Hmm.
right?
But she also sometimes likes her arcane slots open for off-class cards.
Yeah,
I guess it's well positioned to be a competitive card. I just don't always like. It's just every time I read through it, I just go back to the same character who can't play it, and then I'm like, well, who else wants this? And then I just gloss over the card and never use it. But I should use it in someone. That's partly like my, obsession with optimization, where it's like, oh, this is, or the it's not so much optimization, but someone getting something out of it that's really nifty and
Yeah.
cool. And so it's like, oh, if I give it to this character, they can actually leverage it in like a unique way or whatever. Um, but like for example, if Agnes could take it, the healing horror would make so much sense because
Yeah.
she could do the 2 damage and then heal and then or she could yeah, she could ping herself with forbidden knowledge and then she could strike with this and finish him off and then heal that horror back. But she can't take it. So it's like I can't find an equivalent guardian who's like, yeah, this works for me. I need to be healing horror all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't really know. I'm kind of running through all the Guardians in my head, and it really feels like maybe Roland, maybe Zoe, Lily, and that might be it. Like, I could see Mark taking it, but Mark doesn't need it. Um,
Yeah, he doesn't. He gets to card draw on his own.
yeah,
And then Leo Anderson,
probably would rather play
don't
guns.
see why. Probably guns. Yeah, because he wants Venturer and things like that.
Yeah.
So again, like I guess that's the thing, especially when it came out, like your mind just immediately goes. Are you at least willing to give me that your mind immediately goes to Carolyn when you read this?
Honestly, no. Like, it doesn't because I
Okay.
think, like, I internalize restrictions first. So, like, every time I see a
Okay.
fortune card, my first thought is Rex cannot play that. Um, instead of, like, ooh,
Oh,
this would be good in Rex because it's like immediately like, or like anytime I see a firearm card, I'm like, oh, Lily can't play that, right? I know that. That's just kind of
okay.
internalized into my head. It's like, so I don't like. I read the traits and I'm like, cool, can't play this card, and then I read the text and like I don't set myself up for that
I see.
disappointment, I suppose.
Which is maybe what I should have done.
Yeah, maybe. Uh,
All right, it's a cool card though. It's just
yeah,
yeah, figuring out
I
who needs it.
will maybe be
So,
excited for it later. We'll see. Maybe. Seeker cards. Let me
okay,
do these
secret
ones. Yeah.
cards. Yeah, Scroll of Secrets and Grizzly Totem. So this is Scroll of Secrets Yellow Edition. It comes with three. I love that's like makes me think of Pokemon. The Blue
Yeah.
Edition, Yellow Edition. Um, it's a 3 XP asset with 2 intellect icons. Item and tome traded. It takes up a hand slot. It uses 3 secrets. As an action, exhaust Scroll of Secrets and spend 1 secret. Look at the bottom 3 cards of any investigator's deck or the encounter deck. You may discard one of those cards. You may add one of those cards to the owner's hand. Place the rest of those cards on either the top or bottom of their deck in any order.
I would be
Um,
remiss if I didn't bring up the taboo to this card, which makes its action a lightning bolt.
which is what it should have been
Yep.
for sure.
And with that addition, it's a good card.
Hmm. But without it, I think it's kind of trash.
It's like fine. Like this one's fine without the taboo, but definitely not for its cost, right? Like,
Yeah, no, definitely not for the cost. I mean, you're spending 3 XP and an action, whereas Mr. Rook is a free triggered ability. You can use it the same
yeah.
number of times as Mr. Rook. Mr. Rook can do it. He can dig deeper if you want. He can't do other investigators' deck, but I mean, really, you're mostly
So
looking at your deck.
yeah, but okay. The reason I think this card is actually cool is it lets you look at the encounter deck as well. So it does offer you some encounter
That is very
protection.
cool about it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Um.
And you
Yeah.
can manipulate it a little bit, which is nifty.
But again, I don't. I don't. I think I'd play it with the taboo. I think I wouldn't really play it without the taboo, and I think I'm probably still not even really playing it that much with the taboo. Like I think the taboo makes it look like it's actually competitive, but
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I don't care too much for it.
I always consider it in decks where I'm very concerned about hitting doomed or there's certain encounter cards that will just really peg me.
Hmm.
And so then I'm like, can I use this to circumvent it? And the answer is not really. I mean, you can try, but
Yeah,
I just usually feel like 3 XP later, I was probably better off just upgrading my weapon or something.
yeah. I think this, like the Scroll of Secrets in general, is a good defensive card that really rides the line of being a bad defensive card.
Hmm. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, Grizzly Totem then.
Sure.
So this is a 3 cost, 3 XP asset with a willpower and agility icon. It's item, charm, and curse traded, and it takes up an accessory slot. As a reaction, after you commit a card to a skill test, exhaust Grizzly Totem, that card gains another instance of one of its skill icons of your choice. If that skill test is successful, the performing investigator draws one card.
I think this card is
I have a
good.
question.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, why does this say it gets another instance of one of its skill icons of your choice? Why doesn't it just give it a wild icon? What's so wrong with that?
Probably just future proofing, I
Hmm.
would guess. I guess for circle tests, maybe too.
Oh, because then it gets plus
Well,
two,
does it? I don't know.
does it?
I don't really know. I don't really remember how wild icons interact with circle tests. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why not, but I'm guessing like it's probably just a little cleaner this way, because you do have to choose the icon. So like if you are testing,
Hmm.
if there is something that tests, you know what it is? I think it's for cards that like there's some skills like no, that doesn't really work either. I was thinking like written in the stars, like there's that card in Edge of the Earth, or yeah, I think it's Edge of the Earth, where
Okay.
you discard a card off the top of
Hmm.
your deck, you commit it to and you commit it to each eligible test that turn. I think if you that's a fun combo actually, written in the stars into Grizzly Totem 3,
Hmm.
because then would it gain another instance? Yeah, it would. It doesn't have a limit on that. Sorry, this is not answering your question at all. But basically, it would say in that specific example, like you couldn't just treat it as a wild icon and commit it to each of your tests. It would have to be, um, like if you commit, I don't know, Scroll of Secrets off the top of your deck with Written in the Stars. Instead of being able to get +1 to any test and +3 to a book test, you only get to get +3 to a book test from Written in the Stars.
I see. Huh.
That's the closest. That's like the clearest example I can think of off the top of my head. Um,
Huh.
but yeah, I am
Skills
now.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't super matter. I think, but I
Hmm.
am now excited about trying to go through the rules of Grizzly Totem with Written in the Stars. That sounds like a fun deck for me to play. So I might do it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play this in a men deck, which is, it's completely obvious because you're going to get plus two because she can use her ability, or you're getting plus one over two actions, and then you're getting extra cards out of it, and then you can stack it with your analytical mind. I just never do it because I always like to make wacky, dumb min decks where she's like playing cats and dogs and stuff.
I remember the min deck you made me, and this would not have helped at all in that min deck.
No, enough. I would have had to have done a totally different thing. It's so weird because I love skills. I like skill-based decks, so you would think I would play Min as a skill-focused thing, but instead I like to play her as like cheat clues.
Hmm.
And I don't know, maybe I like cheat clues more. But yeah,
Yeah,
Grizzly Totem is a cool card. I think it's a very simple upgrade, but it makes a lot of sense. It gives you
yeah.
an icon and then it gives you a card if you pass.
Yep. Which
Very
is
nice.
really cool. I really think this is a good card. Yeah. I
Hmm.
haven't played it enough. I also like that it's cursed. I don't know what that really means trait wise, but it's thematically really fun. Like I don't know if that I guess it makes like Kohaku be able to take it. Ooh, maybe that's a fun
Hmm.
deck. Yeah. Um,
And then what's her name can take it? Amina.
because it's charm. Ooh,
Hmm.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of into this card. This is my most excited card from this
Agreed.
pack so far. I'll let you know if that changes. Um, but for now, we
Okay.
should probably go on to the Mystic cards. All right. Hey, look, it's two cards we talked about already. Enchanted Blade Purple Edition and Scroll of Secrets Purple Edition. So I'll start with Enchanted Blade Purple Edition, which is a 3-cost level 3 item relic weapon melee asset that takes up the hand and arcane slot just like its Blue Edition brother. It commits for willpower and a combat icon, and it uses 4 charges instead of that 3. As an action, fight, you get +2 for this attack. As an additional cost to use this ability, you may spend up to 2 charges to empower the blade. For each charge spent this way, you get +1 fist and deal +1 damage for this attack. So this is the one I was not impressed with.
Hmm.
I do. like that I have the option to pump like up to 4 and do 3 damage with an attack. That's cool. I don't like that I can only do it twice. And it still costs 3 resources, 3 experience, and takes up all these slots. I think if it had
Makes me want to. Good.
If it had like one more charge, like maybe playing this in Akachi is the way to go with it. But like if it had 5
Let's say that.
charges, like that might be something. Or if I could empower it up to 3 charges, maybe that'd be something. But as it stands, it's just like, I don't know. You can take Spectral Razors like for 3 damage, right? And probably a bigger boost, or as big of a boost as you can take with this one.
That's actually a pretty sound comparison that you bring it up. I think the problem is not so much this card, but just the lack of ways to add charges to assets.
Yeah.
They're better now. There's a couple options you can do. I feel like I also feel that sentiment. It makes me, but I don't feel like the card's useless without it. It's just more exciting to think about playing it in Akachi, because then it's like, ooh, I get an extra slash with it. And yeah, it won't be quite as strong, but there's going to be plenty of instances where I've got a weak enemy on me and I can just one charge him away, and then I got a stronger enemy on me and then I got to really slash him up. You know, like if I got a conglomerate, well, no, that's a bad example because he just eats your melee weapons.
Yeah.
But
if you had only 2 charges left on it, maybe you might as well, right? Like I guess there's that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, then you 3 damage him. Yeah, I like that it's a card that Mystics use their fight with, their fist, and I also like that it's a card that actually pays off the damage and dividends. Like, they really get to just lay into somebody, and I feel like I want to see more of that from Mystic. It's like you're tapping into like arcane energy or whatever. You should be able to just like do like the Spectral Razor thing, you know, just slice something in half.
I mean, like, I get that.
Powers.
I get that. I just wish, like, it was a little bit more unhinged, right? Like, I wish that instead of just being able to do 3 damage, I wish there wasn't a limit on the amount of charges I could spend. And it's like, well, the limit is 4 charges because it has that many. But in Akachi, go ahead and get, like, +7 to your attack and deal 6 damage. Like, that would be...
Yeah.
That would be cool. Actually take out a conglomeration of spheres. Just in one hit.
I love how that's the enemy we're trying to kill with this thing.
Yeah, with this melee weapon, yeah. I don't know. I do kind of wish that it had like a little bit more of like that untapped potential. And I get like that would be kind of problematic. But honestly, like, you're spending the charges and you can always still draw the autofill. This isn't the class that can seal the autofill. Disregard that. But
well, yeah, but that's a lot of
so
work.
Much work. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like if it just cost 1 more resource and it gave you an extra charge and then it took away the limit, then I feel like it would be a little better, because then you'd have 5, and so you've got this odd charge, but it's up to you if you want to do, you know, 3 charges in one attack and 2 in another, or if you want to do 2 and 1. Like, you get to dictate that.
Yeah.
And then if you play it in Kachi, then you get 6 and you can do 3 and 3.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that'd be
really cool.
really
For 4 resources, I would pay for that.
Yeah, I would too. Oh well, it wasn't deemed to be so, but that's okay. All right.
You make a very good point, though. Yeah, maybe it is untapped potential. Like, they should have just given it a little more.
And I think, like, when I played it last, that was kind of like the feeling I came away with, was just like, man, I can really only do 3 damage. like on the surface, this looks so good. You're like, oh, cool, +4 to an attack to do 3 damage. But then you look at Spectral Razor and you're like, that's all Mystics.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
I don't know. For 3 experience, I guess I kind of just expected more. And I guess, like, you can cheat the experience cost of, like, down the rabbit hole, and maybe that's... I don't know. Like, maybe it's fair, but, like...
We're constantly referencing cards that came after this was released, though. So I do feel like this is something that, in hindsight, should have been stronger.
Yeah. All right, anyway, Scroll of Secrets Purple Edition is a 1-cost, 3 experience, hand, slot, item, tome, asset. That's a mess, but whatever. That commits for a willpower and a book. It uses 4 secrets and has the action exhaust scroll of secrets and spend 1 secret. Look at the top or bottom card of any investigator's deck or the encounter deck, then either discard that card, add it to its owner's hand, place it on the bottom of its deck, or place it on the top of its deck. Again, this should be pointed out to.
It should be a free trigger.
It should be a free trigger, yeah. If you're playing Taboo, and honestly, even if you're not playing Taboo, just play with this Taboo.
Yeah, just agreed.
Yeah.
Just play it Taboo because it's useless otherwise. You'll never
really
play
is.
it otherwise.
This one, so the things that this has over the Seeker one is an additional secret. That's it. The thing that the Seeker one has over this is you look at 3 cards instead of 1. And that's so much better.
So much better, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any more to say about this card.
Yeah, I'm wondering about how much I want to brainstorm to try to fix this card, because I want it to be cool. I want the Mystics to outbeat the Seekers here. They just can't.
Yeah, that's the narrative we're trying to force here, right? The Mystics get overpowered cards now.
I mean, assuming the Taboo that they get the free trigger, both cards, then if this one had, like, maybe 6 secrets, I could see it being a little more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be okay with 6. It's like, yeah, it's only 1 card, but I'm getting 6 draw out of it. That's not bad for 1 resource.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it because it's a weakness or something, I just don't draw it. So I got some protective angle there.
Or
and
you
then you can control the encounter deck for a long time, too.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's like you can build this one since it has the 4 secrets to get more secrets on it, but like you can do that with the other one too. I don't know. Yeah, I think it just is like honestly, it doesn't even need 6. I think it needs 5. Like if it had 5, again, just with like with the Enchanted Blade, they did the thing where they instead of giving it 3 charges on the Enchanted Blade, they gave it 4 charges for the purple one, and they instead of giving it 3 secrets on the Scroll of Secrets, they gave it 4 secrets on the purple one. I think they need to do 1 more of each. Just bump it up to 5, and I think that would have been pretty good. Like,
bump it up to 5. This is what we say over at Harlan is in Danger.
Yeah, just give it 5. Give Mystics something like they don't. Both of these cards aren't leveraging their willpower. Like, they're gonna struggle to use these.
Well, and the whole thing is like, it would be like they don't have. I mean, I always looked at this Scroll Secrets as like, oh, it has more longevity, is what I think of. And then the Eternal Blue or Purple Enchanted Blade is like, oh, well, it has more power.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that makes sense. You're tapping into the Arcane, so you get more power than what a Guardian does. But it's like, it's such a short burst that it hardly seems worth it. And then with this one, it's like, okay, I'm getting more longevity because it's like I'm delving deeper into the darkness that even a Seeker wouldn't go to. But if that's the case, then it's like, just give me a consequence instead, and then let me use it infinitely, maybe, or give me more secrets or whatever. You know, like really have it, you know, stick around to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't even play this in Akachi and get an extra charge on it. So like, trash card. It really kind of is. It kind of is a trash. I wish it was better. I wish it was better. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, agreed. It should be better. It could be better.
It could be. All right. Well, moving on to our Survivor cards. We have a card we haven't seen before. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So this is Tennessee Sour Mash Red Edition and Grizzly Tome Red Edition. So with Tennessee Sour Mash, it's a 2-cost 3 XP asset with willpower and agility icons. It's item and illicit traded, and it uses 3 supplies. As a free trigger, you can exhaust it and spend 1 supply. You get +2 willpower for a skill test on a treachery card. And then as a second ability, you can spend an action to discard it. You fight, you get +3 combat for this attack. If this attack succeeds against a non-elite enemy, you automatically evade them. So this has 1 more supply than the base version, is that right?
1 more supply and costs 1 less, yes.
Those seem like Survivor perks to me.
Yeah.
It's a little cheaper.
And it also gets the...
you can survive the Mythos longer.
It gets the automatic evade on an enemy if it's not elite as well, which is not something to be, like, sniffed at. That's a really potent ability.
Yeah, you get a damage and an evade and a pinch, and that's super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, a pretty decent card. I've never actually played this one either, but I really should. I think it's just the third XP. I'm willing to go two. It's hard to get me to spend three on it, though. It's probably worth it, though. Doesn't take up any slots.
Yeah, I think that's like the secretly really juicy part of Tennessee Summer Mash is that it's an item that doesn't take up any slots. Like all three editions of it. Um,
Hmm.
that the slotless items are they're just good because they're slotless. That's all you really need. And if you are playing someone like Bob or a geared up deck that can take these, like, yeah, just kind
Hmm.
of go for it. It's kind of great to, or like even like just having like a well prepared somewhere and just like it's a free, just getting it out for like something. If like the biggest opportunity cost for Tennessee Sour Mashes is getting them out, and uh, this one makes it
Hmm.
worth it to get it out. Really, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan, even though I've never played it, and I should. I've warmed up to it over time. I get this one's always felt very appealing to me, or at least maybe I feel like no, not always. I feel like you talked me around to it because you were talking about the base version a
Mm-hmm.
couple episodes ago, and I was like, I thought about it afterwards, and secret, but I'm planning to run this card potentially in a future deck. So
Mm. I'm looking forward to
okay.
seeing that.
Okay, Grizzly Totem level 3, red edition. This is a 2 cost asset, 3 XP, willpower and agility icon as well. Item, charm, and bless traded. It's accessory slot. As a reaction, after you commit a card to a skill test, you exhaust Grizzly Totem. That card gains another instance of one of its skill icons of your choice. If that skill test fails, return that card to your hand. This is also really cool. It's a resource cheaper, and then it does a recursion effect if you fail, which is very survivory. I love it.
Yeah, I think this one's like okay. I don't like this one as much as the yellow one, but it's cheaper, so there's that. Um,
I like getting my cards back if I fail,
yeah, I
but
think
I
that's
don't know that I really use it. I feel like I need to build a deck with this sole intent of being like lots of skills and just you'll get them back. You'll get them back if you fail. Don't worry about failing.
yeah, it's definitely like I don't know. It's kind of I think it's an odd card. Um, this one, I think the secret ones really feels like immediately like you see the benefit. It's like, oh, if I succeed, I get a card. Like it replaces itself
Hmm.
with another card. This one is you get you get a way to pass the test, but
Yeah.
then it gives you insurance if you fail the test, which is like okay.
It's a survivor thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't like I'm
I
like
agree with what you're saying, but it's a survivor thing.
yeah.
I kind of like that it's like you don't get bonus for being rewarded. You get a bonus in case things go south,
Yeah, and I think
you
like
know.
for me, I have a little bit more of a seeker brain than a survivor brain, so I see this card and I'm just a little bit like, huh, I don't quite understand you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the comfort of insurance policies, though, myself.
yeah, that's fair. I guess that's cool. It's like a more defensive card. I guess that I like that about it, but
Okay.
and I guess like
Mhm.
I do like that it's cheaper to play a little defensively because I think if it was an offensive card and it costs more or it costs less, I'd be like that's the clear one to take. Whereas, like,
Mhm.
if I want to play Grizzly Totem deck, I do have like this choice of like, ooh, do I want to go Seeker or do I want to go Survivor, right? And I think that is an interesting
Mhm.
choice because they are. I think the Seeker one feels more powerful to me, but I can see the use cases of the Survivor one. So
Mhm. Is this card better or worse than try and try again?
that's entirely subjective, but I'm gonna say this is better because Try and Try Again is not very good, in my opinion.
Try and try again is not very good, but it doesn't take up any slots, and this does. So that is an interesting. Next time I build a deck with that effect in mind, I'm going to do this now. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to build a deck that wants to commit skill cards and get them back for failing. And I'll just make it a skill heavy deck that give me lots of cool bonuses. And then if I succeed, great, I get to succeed. But if I fail, then I just pull them back from my hand and then I do it all over again so that I'm always getting the maximum benefit from those cards. I think that's the play. And I'll have to figure out whether this one or try and try again is a better pick. I kind of feel like try and try again will be the better pick though, just because It's like,
I guess like
well, it's
it's
certainly more exciting because this one will probably help me pass, and then it won't be as much fun.
you're gonna run drawing thin in that deck, and it's gonna make me upset.
No, never. I won't yield.
All right, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I think these are both like kind of cool upgrades for Survivor, but they're not like the most interesting, right? Like they're very much like, whereas the Mystic ones were just like, ah, we need a little bit of juice, and the Secret ones were like, yeah, these are good. These ones are like, yeah,
Hmm.
these are fine. These are pretty good cards.
These are fun. Yeah, we're actually following a rhythm here. It's like, yeah, ooh.
Yeah. And let's round that out with the Rogue cards, which I think are actually the most mixed bag for this set. But I have some thoughts on these that I think
Okay,
I'm ready to share. But let's just go ahead and get to
I'm
it.
ready. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so first off, we got the green 45 Thompson, which, and this is, they're also on this page, is Tennessee Sour Mash. I see you there. Hello. Um, green 45 Thompson is a 5 cost item, weapon, firearm, illicit asset that takes up both hand slots and commits for a fist and an agility. It uses 5 ammo and has the action spend 1 ammo, fight. You get +2 for this and +1 damage for this attack. If you succeed by at least X, you may spend 1 ammo to deal this attack's damage to another enemy at your location, where X is that enemy's fight value.
Have you ever used this card?
No, but I kind of want
Okay.
to. Like, I feel
It
like
seems good, but really situational.
I feel like this is one that gets really overshadowed by, like, we were talking about how kind of like the Enchanted Blade got a little bit overshadowed. The purple one got overshadowed by the blue one. I think this one has the same thing, with the blue
Mm,
one kind of overshadowing it. Guardians made out like kings in this pack actually, um,
they did.
but I honestly feel like this might be a really good card. Like, don't hold me to it, but I think this might be a really good card. I haven't played with it, but I think it might be.
I agree with you because I mean, you spend an extra ammo instead of spending an extra action, and you get to deal 2 damage. So you don't have to make another test. You don't have to spend another action.
Yeah,
You got to spend the ammo, but you were gonna have to do that regardless. So yeah, I feel like it's pretty solid.
yeah. I think there's
Imagine taking out swarms with
Yeah,
this.
I think Swarms is a really good place for it. Like this would be a good, like if we had done this cycle before Dream Eaters, I think I would have built this
Hmm.
into that Jenny deck I gave you, for example.
Hmm.
Um, I think, yeah, I don't know. I just think like, and like weirdly, I think the Rogues use that +2 fist a lot better than the Guardians do. Not a lot better, but like it means a lot more to them, than it does to Guardians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it does.
This is an example of a card that I've played maybe once. I don't really remember playing it at all. Like this would be like when I first got Circle and Done because I, you know, had it and was like, ooh,
Hmm.
I'll put this in a deck like for a standalone or something, and then never really touched again. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I like the words on this card. Should I build a deck
Yeah,
around this card? Right? Like so.
you should. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Don't sleep on it, is what I say.
All right. The other card for rogues in this pack is the green edition of Tennessee Sour Mash, which I have played. It is a 3 cost level 3 item illicit asset, and it commits for a willpower and a combat icon. It's fast, has 2 uses supplies, and has a lightning bolt exhaust Tennessee Sour Mash and spend 1 supply. You get +3 for a skill test on a treachery card, +3 willpower. And as an action, discard Tennessee Sour Mash, fight. You get +3 and deal +1 damage for this attack. This card's so good. Um, this card's so good. Like,
Yeah, I like that it's fast, and I like the +3 bonus because rogues really need that. It feels like they were giving rogues text or like stuff on the card, illicit fast, +3 willpower, just to make sure that it was doing things that they would want.
yeah, this is I think one of the few rogue cards where it's like it has multiple things that you can do with it, and you want to use all of them. And I think there's usually a
You
place to do
probably
all of
do,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I no, I just think this is a fantastic card. I really enjoy playing with this card. This is my I think favorite card of this pack. There we go. I crowned it, moved over from Grizzly Totem Yellow Edition to Tennessee Sour Mash Green Edition because it's just it feels so good to play this card. Like it's fast.
Hmm.
It costs 3 resources, but you're in Rogue. Like in order to take this, you kind of have to be in Rogue.
Hmm.
You can get resources to pay for it. It's shores of a weakness.
It block true treacheries.
Potentially, you're still a rogue, so maybe not, but
Yeah,
potentially. Um,
potentially.
and then it gives you like additional damage too, which is nice. And you're gonna probably hit that fight attack that fight for the +3/+1 damage.
Hmm.
Also, again, slotless item, which we talked about.
Yep.
I put a lot of value in that because I've played a lot of geared up decks, and I've played a lot of decks that just like care about cheating items out or getting items out for cheaper. So
Hmm. Yeah, this was, in fact, I think if I remember right, this was actually the version I was going to play rather than the other one, just based on who I'm playing.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, this card seems good. I think let's see, 3 willpower. Well, if I'm like skids, that puts me at a 5 to the test. It's not perfect, but there are a lot of treacheries where it's like for every point you fail by,
Yeah,
and sometimes those sting really bad.
yeah,
So even if I don't pass, if I can just kind of absorb some of the punishment, I think it would be really, really helpful and worth it.
yeah. I'm really excited for you to play this card because I think you'll actually like it and do a complete 180 on Tennessee Sour Mash after playing this card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting effect to be sure. I like too how the art is like this one's been drunk down more, whereas the Survivor one has like one
Yeah,
because
I
it
love the
lasts longer
flavor
with the
of this.
supplies.
Yeah, because you're like, and like it also feels like it's a fancier. It's like it costs a little bit more. It does a little bit more of an effect. Like you get +3 instead of +2, but there's less of it. So it's like it's a fancier whiskey. It's a
Yeah.
Rogues have a little bit,
Fancier with-
whereas the survivors are just like, I'll glug anything you give me. It's good. Just give me that mash.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a huge thematic win. It's one of the most thematic cards ever, honestly, where it's like, you're drinking the alcohol so you can, sustain yourself from the horrors. And then once things get out of hand, you just, break it
Yeah,
over somebody's head,
yeah,
a la movie style.
yeah,
And yeah, it's just a really fun. It's one of those instances where the theme and the effects of the card actually do kind of come together for something that makes a lot of good narrative sense, but is actually probably pretty efficient, probably
yeah.
pretty helpful in any deck. I mean,
Yep.
imagine you're going through your deck and you're trying to play things that you need. If you have a card that does multiple things that you're looking for, maybe that's actually a good smart move.
Yep.
Because like even in a bad situation, you could play this for fast and then hit an enemy over the head right away. Yeah, it would suck to not use the 2 supplies, but like at least it still helped you solve the problem that you were in, as opposed to being a card that was one note.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's like the fast on this card as opposed to something like Sign Magic is just it does so much more, right? Like
Hmm.
if you are at I don't know, if you say like draw Frozen in Fear, right? Like suddenly you're worried about actions. You're worried about passing that brain test at the end of your turn. But this doesn't take an action. You just throw this down and you actually effectively get those 3 actions, even though you have to spend an extra one to do something else. And then
I see.
hopefully
Yeah.
your skids you're drinking at 5 and you're up 2, you
Yeah.
just passed the test. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, we got one more slide, and I'm going to let you read it because I think it's one of
Okay.
your favorite cards.
The Counselor's Coffer. I've never actually played with this one. This is the Counselor's Coffer. What's in the box? 0 cost 2 XP asset with a wild icon, item, and relic. Uses 1 per investigator locks. If there are no locks in the Counselor's Coffer, each investigator searches his or her deck or discard pile for any card and immediately plays it at no cost. Exile the Counselor's Coffer max once per campaign. Double action, test any skill 5. If you succeed, remove 1 lock. Any investigator at your location may activate this ability, and this is a card designed by the Council of Arkham Knights in 2017.
What do you
Wait a
think?
minute, do I like this card or do I hate this card?
I think you hate this card.
I was like, he said I liked it, but I see him grinning over there, and I kind of feel like I hate this card.
I mean,
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I do hate this card.
Yeah, it's a slotless item is the reason to.
Okay, it's a slotless item.
No, it's not a good reason to like it. Yeah, I don't think anyone really likes this card.
It's so many actions.
Yeah.
I guess you get them back when you do this power turn and play all these cards, but what do you need to play so desperately that's going to be so impactful?
Well, and like the thing is, it's not just actions, it's also test any skill 5, which is a lot of resources to expend on trying to do a test.
Yeah.
Like
It's also
maybe
just messy. So much text. Ugh.
yeah. Yeah, and there's like I don't know. I just don't think there's like a good way to do this. Like I was thinking like maybe you could do it with like Blood Pact and Witching Hour, but then you're using 2 of your Blood Pact actions to do something that's kind of inconsequential instead of running around with like an I don't know, getting a bunch of clues or getting a like hitting someone really hard, right?
Yeah.
Um and then it exiles.
Yeah.
And you spent 2 XP for it. Just go away. And you can't you can rebuy it, but it can't do anything again.
Yeah, because it's max once per campaign.
Yeah. No,
It's full of a bunch of unique rules that are specific to this card, like max once per campaign, uses locks, one per investigator uses on a player card. This is too much of that. Way too much.
yeah. I don't know. I really like again, I like to kind of come up with ways to like get through this, but I just 2 actions is such a heavy toll. Like if it was 1 action.
And the test. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. If it was one, I mean, like, I think if it was 1 action, I could see myself being like, okay, it's witching hour. There's nothing for me to do, and I have a blood pact. I'll just blood pact my way through this,
Mhm.
and we'll set ourselves up for the next agenda with like a really good, really good feel. And I'll just exile this card. I did it once. We'll make it through this scenario. That's what this card did.
Mhm.
Or, but that's like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to commit cards to that test. It's a 5 test. I kind of need to commit cards to that test. I'm not going to get
Yeah,
that
five
many
is rough.
passive buffs. Like, okay, I'm a 5 fist guardian that's got a beat cop, an ace of swords, and I'm only 2 up.
The only one I see doing this is like, well, I was about to say Patrice, but not really because she still needs to move.
Yeah. I think if it was 1 action, that would probably be okay. I see why
Hmm.
it's not for like the any investigator at your location to activate this ability, but I wish it was just 1 action and only you could activate it, right? Like
Mm.
that would be better. Because then, like,
Yeah,
you
you're
could,
doing this. Yeah, because then I could.
and then
I
you
could
put it
do
in
it
like
for
a
the team.
support deck, right? Yeah, you put it in a deck that's like,
Hmm.
hey, I'm gonna help my friends find their cards and do something with it. But as it stands, it's like in a support deck. I don't know. Like you could be doing something better with your actions, even in a support deck. And also, like, it's max once per campaign, so you can only you really don't want to put 2 in, so you have to find it still. I don't know. Like it feels like it's a support card, but it just doesn't have the right.
Hmm.
It's just
I hear what you're
asking too
saying.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think if it was just you activate it to give everyone an effect, like that would be better.
Hmm.
And then they could maybe tone down on the actual costs of that.
Yeah. You guessed correctly that I don't like this card because it's probably mostly because it's designed by the counselor. Whenever cards designed by the council, I don't typically like because they get very like idealistic about what the card could do, and it's like everybody gets to play a card of their choice all at once,
Yeah.
which is already like a rules nightmare and like fun to like imagine, but probably not that exciting in actual play. And I'm sure someone has like a crazy story. If you have a crazy story, please share in the comments because I'd be curious to actually hear that. But I feel like the amount of work it will take will not it's not going to feel as good as how much effort it took to get there. It'll feel more like a relief than like a, oh cool, we did this. It'll just be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Sweet.
finally we got
I
something
did
to
the thing.
happen.
I did the thing. Yeah, it's done. I
Yeah.
think like maybe okay. So
Uh-huh.
here's my Magic Christmas Land for this card. I'm playing Dexter Drake
Okay.
with the Leo DeLuca ally, and I have a Blood Pact,
Okay.
and then I can do this in
Okay.
2 player in 1 turn in the Witching Hour if I have nothing else to do.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
And Dexter can find it if he's running his parallel signatures Molly Maxwell, and he doesn't put any other relics in his deck.
So
So,
wait a minute.
but that's another
You
one
would
of.
spend you would spend 2 XP, 6 resources for Leo DeLuca, and an action, or 2 actions just to
Four
get them both
actions.
down.
So 6
4
actions
actions.
total.
Okay, 6 actions totals, and then at the end of that, you get to play a card paying its cost,
So
or do
I
you get to
think
pay it for free?
if it's a support, you
No
no,
cost.
it's no cost. So it's no cost at all. It's no extra cost. So this ignores the cost of doubles. This ignores the cost of. Does it ignore? It says no cost. It might not be ignoring the cost of doubles. I don't know.
So what card do you play then in this scenario?
The biggest thing
That
that I
was
can
so
think of,
demanding.
the big thing I can think of is like rogues getting back some of their exceptional cards because rogues do not have access to recursion in general. Um,
Okay.
so like maybe getting
Like a gold pocket
like a
watch?
gold pocket. Well, those get removed from game, but maybe like a double double that
Okay.
got discarded to Crypt Chill. But then that's like kind of like you already are trying not to have that happen. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I mean, like I guess exceptional cards in Rogue is maybe the closest thing I can think of to like because then you can search your deck for it. But usually Rogue has pretty good tutoring anyways.
Isn't Ace in the Hole give you 3 actions, which you just wasted all your actions, so that wouldn't be worth it, right?
Well, it's 3 actions to the Rogue. So this again, if this is a support card, you're giving those 3 actions to someone else. But yeah, it's not really action positive still.
You would get your actions back, and then you could give someone else a free play a card,
Yeah,
which for like a Guardian teammate
that's
could
action
be
neutral.
potentially worth it.
Yeah. So if it's 2 player, and you get someone back their ace in the hole, so they get 3 actions on their turn, and you give yourself a card and play it immediately. That's action positive, providing you can
Yeah.
pass.
Or
pass
I
the
was just
test both
saying you
times.
get the Ace in the Hole because you're Dexter. Oh wait, no, he
He
can't
can't
take
take it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we need Blood Pact for this to
Okay.
be as cost effective as possible.
Yeah. I mean, the other one I'm thinking of is like you could do like some of those mystic cards that are just so steep. Like what's that? The Flute of the Outer Gods or like Seal the Seventh Sign, where they're just kind of
Yeah,
steep
that's not
and are
bad.
hard to get on the table.
Flute of the Elder Gods, but then you have to have the curses in the bag already. And Flute of the Elder Gods is debatably not very good anyways.
Oh, actually, Flute of the Outer Gods
We had a
isn't
good
too
time. We had a
shabby.
good time with it, but we also had a couple times because we did a playthrough of that before we started the channel as well. I think it was Parallel Wendy or something like that.
Hmm.
Uh, and we got it to work, but we were constantly I do remember us being constantly amazed at like the limitations of it. It's like, oh, it has to be at your location, it has to be such and such of a thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking more of you're right about that circumstance, and I'm remembering that now a little better. How that was a little bit less than ideal. But I did take it in a Sister Mary deck
Mm-hmm.
in a 4 player campaign, and it did work really well in that one because there was always an enemy on the board, and
Did Sister Mary take
I
it?
could gain control of them and do something with the flute, and then I could worry about other things afterwards.
Wait, Sister Mary can't
Um,
take the flute, can she?
oh, I'm sorry, no, it wasn't a Dexter Drake deck. I was in a campaign where I was trading with another player,
Oh,
so
I see.
because he didn't really like to build decks, so I made a Sister Mary deck for us and a Dexter Drake deck, and we would trade off
I see.
each scenario, so we could try both. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's level 4. I guess like finding a high XP card isn't like a bad usage of it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I think I'd rather just put draw in my deck, right? For 2 XP.
Yeah. An economy, because you'll always need that,
Yeah.
even if it's action economy. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really see I need some kind of bonkers card that's like almost impossible to play, but if you could play it, it would change everything. And that just doesn't feel like it exists because what they do is they balance out with XP costs.
Yeah.
And even if I did get it to work, like I can only do it once. So it's
Yeah.
supposed to be
And
this is supposed to be a
that's the
big
thing,
flashy
right?
thing.
Yeah, is like you do only get it once per campaign. So even if you like jump through the hoops, get like deja vu or whatever to like recur your council's coffer for only 1 XP into another scenario, too bad you can't do it again. It's now just a wild icon you can commit.
Yeah. This card sucks. This is not a good card.
Yeah.
It's meant to facilitate a crazy table moment. And
it is.
If that happens for you, great, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I think like that's actually something we should pay a little bit of homage to. Is like this could be a very fun card. And we should maybe get off of our like analytical high horses and be like, you could have a lot of fun with this card if you manage to make it work.
Yeah, you're supposed to get, I think, a team of 4. And yes, it's action intensive, and yes, you got to pass tests, but you've got 4 people at the table, so you can pull it together, make it work. And then everybody brings their A game card that they want to play, and then you pop this off.
All right,
and then everybody plays their strong card.
New idea for who plays this. It's Norman, and you're written in the stars a promise of power, so you can pass those tests.
Okay. Yes,
I don't
you
know,
could do that. That's
I don't know
interesting.
quite how you get the extra action, but to do it in one turn, but maybe there's something there.
I don't think you have to do it in one turn.
I don't think you do either. I guess that's a good point. And like maybe we're like not paying attention to the any investigator. Your location may activate this ability. So maybe it is a 4-player game, and you have 2 people who can do support, or a fighter who's got a downturn or something like that, right? Like.
It's trying to facilitate more cooperative play. What it's trying to do is actually a good thing at the table.
Yeah. I still don't like it.
It's not practical at all. Yeah, I still don't like it. It's not practical. But like, I don't know, it could be fun.
Yeah.
It might be fun in like if you're just doing like a standalone scenario and everybody, and then you bring this.
Yeah, then you don't worry about max once per campaign or exile. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all of the cards in this pack, and we should probably call it there because we've talked about the Council's Coffer for longer than anyone has ever talked about it before.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week to talk about our card reviews for the next Mythos pack, which is no.
In Clutches of Chaos, or
no? There's one more before that. I don't remember. It's one of those Circle Undone scenarios. No, you're leaving. I can't do the outro if you're gone. Wait.
It's Union and Dissolution.
Union and Dissolution.
Union and Dissolution.
There we go.
I had to look at my packs.
So we'll be back to review those cards. I think that's a pretty fun pack. I'm remembering some of the cards in that pack, and I think it's a pretty good one. But until then, we'll just say...
Stay out of danger.